In the late 19th century, a time when women were confined by corsets and strict societal rules, one figure blazed a trail so bright and unconventional that it still fascinates us today. This is the story of Isabelle Eberhardt, the Swiss explorer, writer, and nomad who lived life entirely on her own terms, defying every expectation of her era. Born in Geneva in 1877, Isabelle's upbringing was anything but ordinary. Her father, a former Orthodox priest turned anarchist intellectual, raised her and her siblings with a radical education. While other girls were learning needlepoint, Isabelle was studying literature, philosophy, and classical languages. Most importantly, she learned Arabic, a language that would unlock a world she felt was her own. From a young age, she and her brother would dress as boys to experience the freedom denied to them as girls, a practice that Isabelle would continue throughout her life. This longing for freedom and a deep spiritual pull towards Islam drew her to North Africa. At just 20 years old, she and her mother moved to Algeria, a land that had captivated her imagination through books and letters. There, she fully embraced a new identity. She cut her hair short, dressed in the flowing robes of a North African man, and adopted a male name, Si Mahmoud Saadi. This wasn't just a disguise. It was a liberation. As Si Mahmoud, Isabelle could move freely through a world that was otherwise closed to women. She could sit in male-only cafes, engage in deep political and spiritual discussions, and travel without a chaperone. She explored the vast, mesmerizing landscapes of the Sahara Desert on horseback, sharing campfires with nomads, soldiers, and mystics. She wasn't an observer. She was a participant. She smoked kif, took lovers, and immersed herself in the Sufi mystical traditions of Islam, finding a spiritual home in its teachings of divine love and transcendence. Her life was one of constant motion and deep connection. She documented her experiences in a series of powerful journals and short stories, capturing the raw beauty of the desert and the complex soul of its people. Her writing wasn't the typical travelogue of a European colonialist. It was intimate, empathetic, and often critical of the French colonial administration. She saw the world through the eyes of the Algerians, sharing their struggles and their spirituality. Her unique perspective made her a bridge between two cultures, but it also made her a target. Her relationships were as passionate and unconventional as the rest of her life. She fell deeply in love with an Algerian soldier named Slimane Eni. Their love was scandalous, crossing lines of race, religion, and class. French authorities were deeply suspicious of her. They saw this European woman, dressed as an Arab man, consorting with locals and criticizing colonial rule, as a dangerous spy. They couldn't understand her, so they feared her. This fear culminated in a brutal assassination attempt. While praying at a Sufi lodge, she was attacked by a man with a saber, nearly severing her arm. The attacker was allegedly hired by those who wanted her silenced, but Isabelle survived. During her recovery, she even pleaded for her attacker's life, believing he was just a pawn in a larger game. The incident only solidified her resolve. She married Slimane, becoming an Algerian citizen and further cementing her place in the land she called home. Isabelle's life was a whirlwind of adventure, but it was also marked by poverty, illness, and constant struggle. She embraced the hardships as part of her path, believing that true understanding came from experiencing all facets of life, both the beautiful and the brutal. Her writing reflects this, filled with a sense of fatalism and a profound acceptance of destiny, or mektab, as it's known in Arabic. But her destiny was to be tragically short. In 1904, in the desert town of Ain Sefra, a sudden flash flood tore through the oasis. Isabelle and Slimane were caught in the deluge. When the waters receded, her body was found in the wreckage of their small clay house. She was only 27 years old. In the mud and debris, her friends and husband salvaged her precious manuscripts. These scattered papers, her journals and stories, were her legacy. published posthumously. Works like The Oblivion Seekers and In the Shadow of Islam gave the world a glimpse into her extraordinary soul. They revealed a woman who lived a dozen lives in her short time on earth. Isabelle Eberhardt was a true original. She was a traveler, a writer, a Sufi mystic, a lover, and a rebel. She crossed borders geographical, cultural, and gendered with a courage that is still breathtaking. She sought not to conquer the world, but to dissolve into it, to understand it from the inside out. Her story is a powerful reminder that the greatest adventures are often found when we have the courage to live as our truest selves, no matter what the world expects of us. She lived and died by the desert, a place that for her represented ultimate freedom. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the life of Isabelle Eberhardt. If you were inspired by her story, please hit the like button, subscribe for more tales of incredible lives, and share your thoughts in the comments below. See you next time.